February 11, 2026. Seth Rollins finally comes back and attacks Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed. They told us he was done. They said his body was broken, his spirit shattered, that Seth Rollins would never step foot in a WWE ring again after what Bronson Reed did to him. Paul Heyman stood in that ring with that smug grin, celebrating like they'd buried the architect for good. But last night on Raw, everything changed, and what we witnessed might be the most brutal comeback in WWE history. Let me ask you something: how many times can you destroy a man before he stops getting back up? Because apparently, Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman don't know the answer to that question. And now, they're about to pay a price that might be too high even for them. February 11, 2026 will go down as the night WWE lost control. The night Seth freakin' Rollins reminded everyone why you should never, and I mean never, count him out. But here's what's really got me fired up, what's got the entire wrestling world talking: this wasn't just a return. This was a declaration of war. And the carnage we saw? That might just be the beginning. Now, before I break down every single jaw-dropping moment from last night, I need you to understand something. What happened wasn't just about revenge. It wasn't just about Seth getting his moment of payback. No, this runs deeper than that, and if you don't see it, you're missing the entire story that's been building for months. Let's rewind. Let's go back to where this all started, because context is everything, and WWE is banking on you for getting the details. After WrestleMania, Seth Rollins was on top of the world. The man had given everything to that company, carried it through some of the darkest periods, put his body on the line night after night. And how did WWE repay him? They let Bronson Reed, a man who'd been floundering in catering for months, systematically destroy him. 6 devastating sentences from the top rope that left Seth broken on the outside of the ring. We watched paramedics stretcher him out. We heard reports of fractured ribs, internal injuries, the works. And where was WWE management? Where was Adam Pearce? Where was the accountability? They just let it happen. They just let Bronson Reed end a man's career in front of millions, and then they gave him a microphone and a platform to brag about it. But here's where it gets interesting. Here's where Paul Heyman enters the picture, and this is where I need you to pay attention because this detail changes everything. 2 weeks after the attack, Paul Heyman shows up on SmackDown. He's not with Roman anymore, he's not advocating for the bloodline, he's talking about new opportunities and new clients and the next generation of dominance. At the time, we thought he was talking about someone on SmackDown. We thought maybe he was going to align with Cody or LA Knight or someone established. But no. Last week, Paul Heyman walks out on Raw, not SmackDown, and standing next to him is Bronson Reed. The same man who ended Seth Rollins' career is now being called the most dangerous athlete in WWE today by the greatest advocate in sports entertainment history. Coincidence? I don't think so. And based on what happened last night, Seth Rollins definitely doesn't think so either. So last night, Raw opens up, and Paul Heyman is in the ring with Bronson Reed. They're celebrating. Paul's talking about how Bronson has eliminated the weak and proven that the age of the high flyer, the age of the acrobat, is over. He's talking about how Seth Rollins represented everything wrong with modern wrestling, all flash, no substance. And Bronson standing there like he's conquered the world, flexing, mean-mugging the camera, basically daring anyone to step up. The crowd is booing out of their minds. Like, I'm talking nuclear heat. But Heyman's eating it up. He's in his element, right? He's doing that thing where he gets louder as the boos get louder, feeding off the chaos. And then he says it. He says the line that sealed his fate: Seth Rollins is never coming back, and even if he did, he'd be too afraid to face the tsunami that ended his career. The arena goes dark. And I'm not talking about a regular lights-out moment. I'm talking complete blackout, eerie silence, the kind of darkness that makes your skin crawl. 10 seconds. 20 seconds. The crowd doesn't know whether to cheer or stay silent. You can feel the anticipation through the screen. And then, burn it down, the place erupts. I mean, absolutely loses their minds. The music hits, the lights come back up, and standing on the stage, not in his usual gear, not with his usual swagger, is Seth Rollins. But this isn't the Seth we remember. This is someone different. He's wearing all black. His hair is longer, wilder. His eyes have this look, this intensity that I've never seen from him before. He looks like a man who's been to hell and crawled his way back with nothing but pure rage fueling him. Bronson Reed's face, and you could see it clearly on camera, goes from confident to concerned in about 2 seconds. Paul Heyman immediately starts backing up, telling Bronson to handle this while he retreats to the corner. And Seth? Seth just stands there, staring, not moving, just letting the moment breathe, letting the fear set in. Then he starts walking, slow, deliberate, every step calculated. He's not running to the ring like he used to. He's not feeding off the crowd's energy. This is controlled fury. This is a man on a mission. And Bronson Reed, to his credit, doesn't run. He steps forward, tells Heyman to get out of the ring, and squares up. Big mistake. The second Seth slides into that ring, it's on. And I'm not talking about a wrestling match. I'm talking about a fight. Seth immediately goes after Bronson with forearms, knee strikes, just unloading months of pent-up aggression. Bronson tries to fight back, swings with those heavy hands, but Seth's moving different. He's quicker, more vicious, targeting the legs to bring the big man down. Within a minute, Seth hits a super kick that staggers Bronson. Then another. Then he hits the ropes and delivers a sling blade that actually takes the 330-pounder off his feet. The crowd is going absolutely ballistic. But Seth's not done. Not even close. He's screaming, and you can read his lips 6 times. You did it 6 times. He drags Bronson to the corner, climbs to the top rope, and he delivers a senton. Just like Bronson did to him. The crowd counts 1. Seth gets up, climbs again. Another senton. 2. He does it again. 3. And again. 4. And again. 5. By this point, Bronson Reed is barely moving. Seth climbs up one more time for the 6th senton. Poetic justice, right? But this is where Paul Heyman makes his move. He grabs Seth's leg from outside the ring, tries to pull him down. Seth kicks him off, but the distraction is enough. Bronson rolls out of the ring, gasping for air, and Paul's trying to help him up the ramp. But Seth Rollins isn't done with Paul Heyman. Not by a long shot. Seth rolls out of the ring, and you can see in his eyes, he's not going after Bronson. He's locked onto Heyman. Paul realizes this and tries to run, screaming for help, but Seth catches him on the ramp. He spins him around, and for a moment, they're face to face. Paul's begging, hands up, trying to talk his way out of it like he always does. Seth, please, I can explain, I was just doing business, you understand business. Seth's response? A super kick that echoes through the arena. Paul crumples like a sack of potatoes. But Seth's not finished. He picks up Heyman, and this is wild to see, carries him back to the ring, throws him in. The crowd is chanting yes, 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 because they know what's coming. Everyone knows what's coming. Seth looks at the crowd, points to the sky, and delivers the curb stomp to Paul Heyman. The place goes nuclear. But even that's not enough. Seth picks up Heyman again, and the man is clearly out of it at this point, sets him up, and delivers a second curb stomp. Referees are running down. Security's trying to get in the ring. And Seth just stands there, arms spread, soaking in the moment while Paul Heyman lies motionless on the mat. Bronson Reed's on the ramp, being held back by officials, screaming threats at Seth. But you can see it in his body language, he's shaken. The monster who destroyed Seth Rollins just got a taste of his own medicine, and the fear is real. Here's why this matters. Here's why this is bigger than just a revenge angle. For months, WWE has been pushing this narrative that the old guard needs to step aside. That guys like Seth Rollins, who built this company on their backs, are obsolete. They've been elevating people like Bronson Reed, talented, yes, but unproven, at the expense of the people who literally made WWE what it is today. And Paul Heyman aligning with Bronson? That's a calculated move to give Bronson legitimacy he hasn't earned. It's WWE's way of saying this is the future, get used to it. But what they didn't count on was Seth Rollins refusing to stay down. They didn't count on the architect rebuilding himself into something more dangerous than before. The question now is, where does this go? Because WWE just reignited one of the most personal feuds in recent memory, and the implications are massive. Is this leading to a match at WrestleMania? Is this about Seth reclaiming his spot at the top? Or is this about something deeper, about a man who gave everything to this company finally snapping and deciding he's going to take what he wants by force? And what about Paul Heyman? The man just took 2 curb stomps. At his age, that's not something you just walk off. Is he going to be out of action? Will this force Bronson Reed to stand on his own without the greatest mouthpiece in the business? Or will this make Paul even more dangerous, more manipulative, as he plots Seth's ultimate downfall? The WWE universe is divided right now. Some people are saying Seth went too far attacking Heyman, that he crossed a line. Others are saying Paul had it coming for months of manipulation and smugness. But here's what I think, and tell me in the comments if you agreed. Paul Heyman has orchestrated the destruction of careers for decades. He's been the mastermind behind some of the most vicious attacks in WWE history. He aligned himself with the man who nearly ended Seth's career, and he celebrated it. He mocked Seth's absence. He profited off Seth's pain. So when Seth delivers 2 curb stomps to a 59-year-old man, is that crossing a line? Or is that finally giving Paul Heyman a taste of the violence he's been promoting his entire career? You tell me. What we do know is this: Seth Rollins is back, and he's not the same man who left. He's not coming back to smile for the cameras and shake hands and be a good corporate soldier. He's coming back for blood. He's coming back to prove that you can't just discard someone who built this empire. And if WWE management, if Adam Pearce, if Triple H think they can control the situation, they're delusional. This is personal now. This is about respect. This is about a man who was told he'd never wrestle again, proving everyone wrong and making them pay for doubting him. And honestly, WWE needs this. They need this intensity. They need this edge. They've been playing it too safe for too long, and Seth Rollins just reminded everyone what professional wrestling is supposed to feel like: chaotic, unpredictable, and absolutely unmissable. Drop a comment right now and tell me, did Seth go too far? Or did Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed get exactly what they deserved? Are you Team Rollins or Team Reed? And what do you think happens next week when Raw comes back on the air? Because you know WWE's going to have to address this. You know Bronson Reed is going to want revenge. And you know Paul Heyman, if he's physically able, is going to be out for blood. Hit that like button if you're as hyped as I am about Seth's return. Subscribe if you want more breaking news and analysis from the world of wrestling. And share this video with everyone you know, because what happened last night is just the beginning of what's going to be an insane road to WrestleMania. Seth Rollins is back. The architect is ready to burn it all down, and WWE will never be the same.